is time for our second maths lesson of the week. In today's session, we're going to be looking at converting between millimetres and centimetres, and then also converting between centimetres and millimetres. So, without further ado, let's get going. So, our first question today is 1 centimetre is the same as how many millimetres? So, I'll let you have a quick think about that. Some of you will be thinking to yourselves, okay, milli, I know that the prefix milli means 1,000, so I'm going to say 1,000. I'm afraid that's not right. Yes, it is milli, and it does mean 1,000, but it means 1,000 millimetres in a metre. But we're looking today at converting between millimetres and centimetres. So the correct answer is 10. So yesterday we were multiplying and dividing by 100. Today it is going to be 10, as this diagram will show you. So to convert from millimetres to centimetres, we need to divide by 10, which means moving our numbers one space to the right. And if we're converting from centimetres to millimetres, we are multiplying by 10, which means to move from one digit to the left of each of our digits in our measurement. So let's have a look at what that looks like in practice. So here we have our first question. So it says 3 centimetres equals how many millimetres? We've got a bar model here to help us. So we can quite clearly see that we've got 1 centimetre, 2 centimetres, 3 centimetres. We've got the equivalent here, equivalent just meaning the same. So we've got 10 millimetres, 20 millimetres, 30 millimetres. So 3 centimetres is the same as 30 millimetres. Okay. Let's have a look at our next question. So how many centimetres are there in 40 millimetres? So here I can see, if I look at my millimetres, I've got 10, 20, 30, 40. So my bar model is correct. So all I need to do is then go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because 40 divided by 10 is 4. Nice and simple to begin with. Now this next question gets a little bit more complicated because this time we have 6.5 centimetres. And it's asking us how many millimetres are there in 6.5 centimetres. Now if you look at the answers that we've got 65, we've got 0.65 and we've got 650. So if we start by looking at our bar model, we can see across the top we've got our 6.5 centimetres and we're using the bar model to make it in millimetres. So we've already got 10 millimetres here, which represents 1 centimetre, and we've got 5 millimetres here, which represents our 5/10 here. So all that we would need to do, if I select the pen tool, is this would be 10. Obviously, I would normally write millimetres, but it would take me ages. If you were doing this, I would want you to write millimetres, of course, as a bit of practice. Okay, so all I need to do now, how many millimetres are there in 6.5 centimetres? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. And that's how it can help you to work it out. Or we could do 6.5 times 10 and move each digit one place to the left to make 65 using a place value chart. So here we've got, there are how many centimetres in 58 millimetres? So we can see we've got 58 millimetres across the top. We've got 1 centimetre in each of these boxes. I'm just going to put a 1. Being lazy again, I would want you to write centimetres out properly, of course. So if I'm trying to work out how many centimetres I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.8. So I would be looking to write in 5.8 0.8. And that's how many centimetres there are in 58 millimetres. Obviously, my answer would need a centimetres if I was doing some questions. However, because it's already there, I wouldn't need to do it for this one. I'm not sure if it'll accept your answer with or without centimetres. If you do it with and it doesn't accept your answer, then do it without, and vice versa. Okay, let's have a look at the next one again. So we're using the greater than, less than, and equal symbols. We need to choose which symbol needs to go where the question mark is. So obviously we've got centimetres and we've got millimetres. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we've got our answer all in the same unit of measure. So we're going to put it all into millimetres. So what I need to do is I need to get my 6.7 and I need to times it by 10. So I need to move each digit one place to the left. So my 6 ones become 6 tens, and my 7 tenths become 7 ones. So I end up with 67 millimetres. Oh, we'll put the millimetres this time. It's very hard to write on your screen. Okay, so I've got 67 millimetres. I can now see that 76 millimetres would be bigger, so I would be choosing the symbol that I've just drawn, because the crocodile always, you got it, the crocodile always eats the bigger number, and 76 millimetres is bigger than 6.7 centimetres. Moving on to the next slide, again, just like yesterday, what we need to do is we need to decide whether we are going to convert our millimetres into centimetres or our centimetres into millimetres. It's relatively simple today for this one. All I need to do is, for this one, I need to divide it by 10, so it becomes 2.9 centimetres. And then this one, 37 divided by 10 becomes 3.7 centimetres. Making sure I'm moving those digits the right way. So what I need to do now is to put it into order, starting from smallest to largest. So our smallest would be 29 millimetres, which is what I would be writing in there. Remember that I need to write down what it was originally. If I put 2.9 centimetres, probably it's not going to accept that as the right answer, even though it is the same or equivalent. Okay, then I'm looking at which one comes next, and then that would be 3.5 centimetres. Wonderful, beautiful handwriting here on the screen. And then I'm going to have my 37 millimetres in here, and ending with my 4.2 centimetres in there. Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing we need to look at is this problem here. So I've got 13.4 centimetres. What is that in millimetres? So first thing I need to ask myself, am I dividing or am I multiplying by 10? Now, millimetres are 10 times bigger, so I'm multiplying by 10. So I might use a place value chart to help me. I've got one here ready. So I'm moving each number one place to the left. So I'm hoping it's going to let me. Yep, move my 1 there, move my 3 there, and I move my 4 one place. So my answer would be 134 millimetres. Now I wouldn't need to put 134.0. I know we might be tempted to do that, but we can just write it as 134. That 0 doesn't really mean anything because it hasn't got any value, so we don't need it there as a placeholder. Let's have a look at the next question. To convert centimetres to millimetres, you add a 0 to the number. Okay, for some that will work. you would need to have a really good think about this question. This is a reasoning style question, therefore I am looking for a yes or a no and the word, my favourite word, because, to explain why you think that. Final type of questions, we've got Alex and Bert throwing a dart to see who can get closest to the bullseye. Alex's dart is 10.8 centimetres away from the bullseye. Bert's dart is 23 millimetres closer to the bullseye than Alex's dart. How far away from the bullseye is Bert's dart in millimetres? Include the units millimetres in your answer. So it's really important that we do remember to put millimetres in our answer. So because we are working our answer out in millimetres, I would be converting Alex's 10.8 centimetres into millimetres, which is 108. I'd do 108 take away 23. And whatever my answer is, I would put it in the answer box and I would need to remember to put mm on the end for millimetres. Hopefully that's helped you with the questions that you're going to come across on LBQ today. Remembering that there are 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre. Keep safe and keep washing those hands.